Sir Criston Cole is probably one of the most hated characters in House of the Dragon. Fans found his attitude and resentment towards Rhaenyra unreasonable and even disturbing. I believe this is because fans have a biased view when it comes to any character that stands against Rhaenyra. From the very beginning, Rhaenyra was presented as the protagonist, automatically making any character that stood against her the antagonist. Unfortunately, Cole was one of those characters that stood against her, and because of this, many fans failed to see the underlying elements at play during Criston Cole's interactions with Rhaenyra and other characters. Combined with the fact that the showrunners decided to strip away the very thing he is supposed to be known for, his fighting ability. This left the version of Cole we see in the show as an empty husk compared to his book counterpart. In the show, Sir Criston has never shown any display of skill that would indicate that he is the most dangerous man of his time. In the very first episode, Cole does manage to beat Daemon, but he only wins because of Daemon's arrogance and not because he's more skilled. I understand that they wanted Daemon's first impression to be as impactful as possible, so they tried to find a way to make Daemon look cool and give Cole his victory at the same time. But the problem is Daemon gets more than enough chances to show how dangerous he is before the actual war starts. Cole doesn't. Which means this tourney was supposed to be Cole's moment to show the audience just how much of a threat he really is. And given the fact that the show creators knew they weren't going to do another tourney at Rhaenyra's wedding, they should have had Cole beat Daemon decisively. This is exactly what happens in the book, where Cole's victory over Daemon is a result of his superior skills rather than Daemon's arrogance. And in the tourney held at Rhaenyra's wedding, Cole basically destroys everybody. He beats Sir Harwin, the so-called strongest man, so badly that Sir Harwin is left with a broken collarbone and shattered elbow. Cole also injured Joffrey Lonmouth so severely that he passed away a few days later from his wounds. However, in the show, Sir Criston is portrayed as beating Joffrey to death at a feast, rather than during a tourney. This alteration in the storyline portrays Cole as a madman that can't control his emotions. Instead of the skilled, calculated warrior that he is, he's being treated like Jaime Lannister, but without the acknowledgement of his skills. In Game of Thrones, Jaime is recognized as a skilled fighter despite not always showing it on screen. In comparison, Cole doesn't receive any recognition in the show, which is why some fans actually believe Harwin Strong can beat Cole, because that is the impression the show gave the audience. The only fight scene between the two is where Sir Harwin wins. Even though this fight was a trap set by Cole to get Harwin in trouble, it still doesn't change the fact that if you haven't read the book, you most likely wouldn't know that Criston Cole could easily beat Harwin Strong. Criston's role in Aegon's crowning was also significantly diminished in the show. In the book, Cole also sought out Aegon, but instead of simply delivering him to the queen, he played a crucial role in convincing Aegon to claim the throne. Cole warned Aegon that if Rhaenyra became queen, she would likely execute him, his brothers, and his sons. Combine that with Cole placing the crown on Aegon's head, earned him the title of Kingmaker. The showrunner's choice to omit many of Cole's standout moments and heavily emphasize his romance with Rhaenyra ultimately did a disservice to his character. The relationship, which didn't even exist in the book, was completely fabricated by the show's creators. Nevertheless, considering they went in this direction, we might as well delve into it. At first, the relationship between Rhaenyra and Cole in the show seemed pleasant. Rhaenyra played a significant role in Cole's journey by bestowing upon him the White Cloak, a symbol of honor and protection. Cole seemed appreciative of her gestures and displayed a sense of understanding towards her, perhaps more than others did. Their relationship seemed strong, with Rhaenyra leaning on Cole for support and confiding in him. However, everything changed on the night they consummated their relationship. Despite Rhaenyra initiating the encounter, many defend her actions by citing her youth and recklessness. The criticism, however, falls on Sir Criston, deemed responsible as a mature adult who could have refused her. The problem with this argument is that Rhaenyra is not just an ordinary teen. She is the daughter of the king. And on top of that, she is the heir to the Iron Throne, probably the second most powerful person in all of Westeros. And Sir Criston is the son of a steward. He's not even the son of a lord. The difference in power between them is immense. Rhaenyra may have been a teenage girl, but in that room, she was the one with the power. And with that power comes a lot of danger for Cole. If he were to refuse Rhaenyra's advances, She could easily accuse him of inappropriate behavior, leading to dire consequences. Although it's unlikely that the show version of Rhaenyra would do such a thing, but the issue isn't whether she would or wouldn't do it. It's the fact that she could. That's what made it so dangerous for him. If you look at things from his perspective, you start to realize that he was in a no-win situation where neither accepting nor rejecting Rhaenyra came without risks. While we, as the audience, may know that Rhaenyra would most likely not harm him for turning her down, Cole had no way of knowing that. The situation was far from straightforward. It was riddled with complexities and potential repercussions no matter which path he chose. After their encounter, Cole's emotional turmoil only intensified, exacerbated by the shame and guilt stemming from the loss of his honor. In a desperate attempt to escape the consequences of their actions, he implored Rhaenyra to run away with him. However, when she rejected his proposal, an overwhelming mix of emotions consumed Cole, leading him to feel intense anger towards her. Many fans perceive his suggestion to flee as ridiculous given the circumstances. To me, Cole's disappointment at Rhaenyra's refusal to leave with him seemed more like a desperate attempt to salvage his own sense of honor and self-worth. He wanted to be seen as a noble and honorable man, leaving behind a heroic legacy. After their encounter, he tried to create a romantic narrative where their relationship could replace his broken oath as a Kingsguard. But it was all just a facade. The root of the issue was mostly about his own self-image, rather than his feelings for Rhaenyra. Similarly, Rhaenyra's seduction of Cole was driven by her own desires and frustrations, rather than any true feelings for him. She acted impulsively, not considering how it would affect him or his reputation. Her actions highlighted a lack of consideration for the well-being of those who serve her. While she has a sense of duty towards her kingdom and her role in fulfilling a prophecy, her treatment of her allies and subordinates reflects a disregard for their loyalty and sacrifice. It is important to note that in the books, the reasons for Rhaenyra and Cole's estrangement are ambiguous. It is uncertain whether Cole spurned Rhaenyra or vice versa, but their mutual hate for each other is clear. However, in the show, Cole is depicted as harboring resentment towards Rhaenyra, while she appears indifferent towards him. The change from the books makes Cole look like a bitter ex who can't get over a relationship that ended more than a decade ago. Again, the show creators make a change that does his character a disservice. Then there are people who have the audacity to say that Cole should just get over it, because they believe his honor is still intact. They argue that his reputation remains untainted because his actions remain unknown. However, it's important to understand that honor isn't solely about external perceptions. Many fail to comprehend the complexity of Cole's internal struggle and the profound impact his loss of honor has had on him. Comparing his situation to Jaime Lannister's journey in A Song of Ice and Fire sheds light on the burden of shame and guilt that Cole carries. Just as Jaime was consumed by the repercussions of dishonoring his vows, Cole's sense of self-worth and identity revolved around his position in the Kingsguard. Unlike Jaime, whose roots in House Lannister provided some semblance of support, Cole had nothing else to cling to besides his white cloak. The indifference displayed by Rhaenyra, the very person for whom he sacrificed his honor, only adds to the weight of his despair. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more analysis and theory from the world of A Song of Ice and Fire. See you next time.